Hey, it's Mark here from Make Him Yours, and today I have a very exciting guest with me. I've got Dr. Karin Anderson Abrell with me. Thank you for coming in. Dr. Karin is the author of Single is the New Black, Don't Wear White Until It's Right. She's a PhD level psychologist who has been a professor for over 10 years, so she really knows what she's talking about. And today we're talking about stopping negative self-thoughts. Karin, thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's get straight into it. The first point is about, number one, taking charge of your thoughts. What does this mean to someone with so much scientific experience in psychology to you, and how do the viewers do this?
Yeah, because when we're thinking about negative self-talk and negative thoughts, it's really what's going on in our minds is so powerful, and it's affecting everything that we're experiencing. It
becomes our reality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and there's really no other way to look at it. So we have to take charge. That's actually the theme of my podcast, is take charge of your thoughts, take charge of your life. And just briefly, let's go to the neurological level for a second. Actually, neural pathways are reinforced by what we think. So if
myelination, right?
Yes,
over and over again.
Exactly. So if we continue to think negatively, then it's going to be easy. That'll be our default.
Get real good at it.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to take charge. And to me, that means we get really mindful. We get really careful and really aware. So such that when I hear myself thinking negatively, I'm like, nope, not going to do that. So it's really an intentional and very disciplined activity.
Is thinking the right thoughts.
Yes.
So essentially, how does the audience, if you want to take charge of your thoughts right now, how can a woman do that?
Well, it just starts, like I said, with being aware. So maybe it involves something like carrying a journal around with you so that you write down, wait, this is what I'm thinking. I'm on the train just kind of spacing out. But what's going on in my mind? And so just being very intentional, identifying. And then when you hear these negative thoughts and you realize them and you see them, then going, no.
Like, wait a minute, what is this?
We're not going there.
Yeah, nice. Number two is acting as if. So this is one I've had to use in my own life a lot, and it's one that I'll sometimes have clients use as well. Sometimes you have to work from the outside in, right? You can't always correct every limiting belief. I think in personal development, sometimes people have this idea, I'm going to get my mind perfect, and then everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can make the outside great, and it feeds back in. You know, in my own life, when I was really struggling with some of the deepest negative beliefs, I just had to get out there and start taking action. Mm-hmm. And even though I didn't have a full belief about how it might play out, taking the positive action, getting the feedback, getting some success, actually feeds back in, and you can work in both directions, from both inside out and outside in. And this has been super successful with clients as well. So don't be afraid if you're out there too to just by moving, it's like just by going to the gym, you feel better.
Yeah,
right? Endorphins released. Sometimes acting as if will work just as well to clear out negative thoughts. Number three, Karin, is to inundate yourself with what?
Positive messaging. So you shared a personal example from your history, and when I went through one of my billion breakups, there were many, I had to really look at my mindset, and because I couldn't trust my mind, because I was in such pain, I was just hurting so badly, that I knew that if I was driving for 20 minutes or on the train again, I knew that my mind was going to go in that negative place. So I wouldn't trust myself with my own mindset. So I would literally get in the car and I'd just pop in CDs of motivational speakers. Joel Osteen was one that really, So I just
start to think like them,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
And you start believing it. They're out there saying, no, there's hope, no, there's joy, no, believe, and you go, you're really resisting it because you're just in such a bad space, but eventually you're like, all right, I guess I agree with
I'll listen to you guys.
Right? Exactly.
Number four is a process I'll use with clients a lot, which is to connect with your empowered masculine. So one thing I like to have clients do is think about, well, how did you feel when you felt really good and really loved and really like you were enough and in a great space, and you're around a guy? Because if you're having negative thought patterns and then you find, oh, a guy suddenly around him, I felt great, you can actually use that as a trigger to access your own empowered masculine. So this isn't the push, insecure, braggy stereotypes of the masculine. This is like, I like to think of this as either the lion, the pride lion in a tribe, who's very relaxed and present and safe, or even what a father, like an older father, would say to a very young daughter. You are lovable, you are enough. When you really connect to your own empowered masculine, and understand that that energy is not a bad thing. A lot of women look on masculine energy as a bad thing and want to get rid of all of it. And they're thinking of the stereotypes, the disempowered kind. The empowered masculine actually lifts you up as a woman and makes you more feminine. And when you access it, like if you always just have this energy around you, whether you want to call it a voice in the back of your head or however you think of it, that's always telling you that you're enough, that you're there, that you're holding, that's holding space for you, that really just makes a lot of those anxious thoughts dissipate.
Yeah, you're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And you bring that to the dating scene, and you just, you know, like you said, that you're enough.
Yeah, and you carry that and men can sense it. And number 5 is taken from a more logical perspective, which is this incredible process that Karin's fantastic at. It's called REBT. What is that, and how does it help your psychology clients totally switch their negative thoughts?
So it's my favorite therapeutic intervention, and I use it on myself all the time, and that's why I love it so much, because, you know, I just learned all these tools when I was in school to become a therapist, and then I started using them on myself and really had complete buy-in then. So REBT is from the cognitive realm. It's by Dr. Albert Ellis, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. And what it does is it basically you call yourself out on your irrational thoughts, because we all have them, right? I mean, we all run around and we want to be logical and intelligent, but we catch ourselves with really irrational
dumb shit, basically.
Exactly. So what you do is you break it down, and there's a really beautiful process. It's very, again, for someone who, if you're the cerebral type of person, which many of you I'm sure are, you're really analytical, you just get out a pen and paper and you look at the entire process of your thinking patterns. And he has this A, B, C, D, E, F model. And A is the activating event. So let's go with a breakup, because that's something that as I said earlier.
Breakup activates negative thoughts.
Exactly. So it's the activating event, and you're miserable, right? Because you're broken up with. But what's really going on once you break it down through the REBT process is you realize that the activating event isn't in and of itself so horrible. It's really not the issue. It's the belief. So A, B, the belief is what is causing you all the distress and pain.
About what's happened.
Exactly. So I get broken up with, that can be actually a neutral event.
Yeah, and it could be, I got rejected, so I now have the opportunity to meet someone way better.
Yes,
but
exactly. It's the belief that's causing you the pain, right?
Yep.
So you're going to, I got broken up with yet again. I'll never meet anyone. I'll be alone for forever with my cats, which I had 3 cats.
That's
so I was that lady.
Nothing wrong with living with 3 cats forever.
But anyway, so it's the belief associated with the event. So once you identify that belief, then C, you recognize that the consequence is, of course, the feeling that you're feeling miserable is because of the belief. So once you look at the belief, you realize that the power, I know it's a little bit, it's nice to have it down on paper, because you can kind of just walk yourself through it.
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, that'd be great. But then you realize that the consequence can be different if the belief is different, right?
Yep.
So A, B, C, D, then you start to dispute, which I enjoy because I'm kind of like scrappy at times. And so I start like getting into it with myself, essentially. Yep. So I dispute myself. When I would say things like, okay, my belief is that I will never meet anyone. I'll be alone forever. I literally would tell myself in my head, that's irrational.
That makes no sense.
If
I wrote it down, if my friend said that to me.
Oh my gosh, right? You would be like, stop it. Don't say that to your best friend would never let that crap come out of your mouth, right? So you do that internally with yourself, right? You dispute yourself, you challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so you challenge that belief. Right. So, and then E is the effective new belief, because now that you've challenged yourself with your disputation, you now have the freedom to adapt to and adhere to a new effective belief that's rational.
That makes more logical sense.
Right, which is, it's disappointing, it's unfortunate, I'm sorry that I'm heartbroken again, but there's no reason that in this moment, right here in 2019, that because I'm alone now, I'm gonna be alone for forever.
Like, it makes no actual sense.
That makes no actual sense. I could meet like the love of my life like in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And so then the F is the new feeling, is no longer my distress. I may be sad, but I'm not miserable, right? Yep. Because my new feeling is aligned with my new belief that is rational and makes sense.
Cool. So essentially it's a process. You take the action, you find the belief, the consequences from it, and then you dispute that belief, get the new empowering emotion and feeling from it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's a logical way, an energetic way, a couple of strategies you can take there to stop negative beliefs. Dr. Karin's got an amazing podcast.
Thank you.
It's called Love and Life. Check it out. We'll put the link up here and in the description below. Dr. Karin, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
We're going to have another video on how to find romantic success as a successful woman. Karin has done that herself, and she's going to share a few of her surprising secrets for it. So make sure you check that out above and in the description below. Leave your comments, thoughts, questions, as you always do. I'd love to hear, what do you think of Dr. Karin? What do you think of what we talked about today? Put them all in the space below. Give the video a big thumbs up and hit the big red subscribe button with the little bell, as always, so you get the notifications. Thank you so much for coming in, Karin.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will see you in the next video.